The red lights flashed across the command center on Mars Colony 7. Commander Tamman stood frozen, staring at the data streaming across his screens. His hands gripped the edge of the console as numbers scrolled past, each one more impossible than the last. "Sir, you need to see this," said Lieutenant Park, his voice shaking. The sensors picked up something at the edge of the solar system. Tamman moved closer to the main display. What he saw made his blood run cold. Ships, hundreds of them, maybe thousands. They filled the dark space between stars like a swarm of metal insects. Each one was massive, bigger than anything humanity had ever built. "Get me Earth Command," Tamman said quietly. "Right now, back on Earth." In Seoul, Ju was having a normal morning. She worked as a xenobiologist, studying the few alien artifacts that had been found in space. Most days were boring. She looked at rocks and old metal pieces, trying to guess what aliens might be like. She never thought she would actually meet one. Her phone rang. It was her supervisor, Jai-woo. "Get to the office now. Something's happening." She ran. The streets were already filling with people looking up at the sky. News drones buzzed overhead. Everyone's phones were buzzing with emergency alerts. When she reached the first contact center, the building was chaos. Scientists and military officers rushed everywhere. "What's going on?" she asked. Dr. Kim, her supervisor, grabbed her arm. "They're here, real aliens, and they're not friendly." On the main screen, everyone watched as a message played. It had been broadcast to every device on Earth, every satellite, every radio. The translation software struggled with the alien words, but the meaning was clear enough. A creature appeared on screen. It looked almost human, but wrong. Its skin was blue gray. Its eyes were too large and completely black. When it spoke, its mouth didn't move right. "Primitive species of Earth," the translation said. "I am Commander Vexler of the Vin Empire. Your world has been selected for integration into our domain. You surrender all weapons. You will accept our governance. You have 12 of your hours to comply. Resistance will be met with total annihilation. This is your only warning." The message ended. The room went silent. "They can't be serious," someone whispered. "Ju and LT Unk and GTS." Console beeped. A second transmission was coming through, but this one was different. It was encrypted and came from somewhere else in the galaxy. The header read, "Galactic Council Priority Alpha. I'm getting something else," Ju said. Her fingers flew over the keyboard. "It's not from the Vin. It's from something called the Galactic Council." The message decoded slowly. When it appeared, Ju read it aloud to the Vin Empire. "You are hereby ordered to withdraw from the Sol system immediately. The species designated as humanity is under Galactic Prohibition Code 7. You are in violation of the Ancient Accord. Withdraw now or face sanction." "What's Code 7? Someone asked. Ju kept reading, her voice getting quieter. "There's more. It says we're classified as a quarantine species, whatever that means, on Mars." Tamman was having the same conversation with Earth Command. "They want us to surrender," he said into the comm link. "That's not going to happen. We don't have a choice," General Kwan replied from Earth. "Look at those ships, Tae-min. We have 6 orbital defense platforms and maybe 200 combat-ready spacecraft. They have an armada, so we just give up. By time we evacuate who we can, we the Transmission cut out, Tamman's screens went wild with alerts. The Vin fleet was moving. They weren't waiting 12 hours. They were advancing now, in Seoul Hyan. Wu checked his gear one more time. He was part of the special forces, the best soldiers Earth had. His team was being deployed to defensive positions around the city. Nobody really believed they could stop aliens with technology far beyond their own, but they would try. "Anyway, you scared?" asked his teammate. Corporal Lee, terrified, Hyan Wu admitted, but that's never stopped us. Before, he thought about his sister, his parents. They were somewhere in the city, probably trying to get to the emergency shelters. He hoped they would make it. He hoped this wasn't the end of everything. Back at the first contact center, Jiu was digging deeper into the Galactic Council's message. There were attached files heavily encrypted. She wasn't supposed to be able to open them, but she was good at her job, very good. First file opened. It was old, very old. The timestamp said it was over 10,000 years old by Earth's calendar. "Oh my God," she whispered. The file was labeled Humanity Species Assessment. Danger Level Extreme. She started reading. With every line, her eyes grew wider. "Dr. Kim," she called out, "you need to see this right now." But before she could show him, the building shook. Explosions echoed across the city. The Vin weren't just advancing. They were attacking. In space, the first battle was already beginning. Earth's orbital defense platforms opened fire. Missiles streaked through the void. Laser batteries lit up the darkness. For a moment, it looked like humanity might have a chance. Then the Vin fired back. Their weapons were like nothing humans had ever seen. Beams of purple energy cut through Earth's defenses like paper. Ships exploded. Space stations went silent. In less than 5 minutes, half of Earth's orbital defenses were gone. On Mars, Tamman watched helplessly. His colony was too far away to help. All he could do was watch as the Vin fleet surrounded Earth like a closing fist. "Sir," Lieutenant Park said, "we're getting reports from the outer colonies. Jupiter Station, the Belt Mining Facilities, Europa Base. The Vin are hitting all of them. Casualties unknown. Communications are breaking down." Tamman made a decision. "Ready all ships. I don't care if they're mining vessels or science boats. Arm them with whatever we have. We're going to Earth, sir. That's suicide. Then we die defending our home." Tam said, "Better than hiding out here." Back on Earth, the sky over Seoul burned. Vin dropships were entering the atmosphere. They looked like black seeds falling from heaven, leaving trails of fire behind them. Air raid sirens wailed. People ran through the streets, trying to reach shelter. Hyan Wu and LT Unk and GTS radio crackled. "All units, the enemy is landing. Estimate 5,000 hostiles in your sector. Rules of engagement: protect civilians, hold your positions, and good luck." He looked at his team. They looked back at him. None of them said what they were all thinking. This was probably their last day alive. The first Vin drop ship crashed into a building 3 blocks away. The ground shook. Metal screamed as the alien craft tore through concrete and steel. A hatch opened. Soldiers poured out, each one carrying weapons that glowed with strange energy. Hyan Wu raised his rifle. It was a simple weapon compared to what the aliens had, but it was all he had. "Here they come," he said. The war for Earth had begun, and somewhere in a computer, Jiu and LT Unk and GT's decryption program was still working, slowly revealing a truth that would change everything, a truth about what humanity really was, a truth about why the Galactic Council had tried to warn the Vin, but it was too late for warnings now. The Vin had come to take Earth. They believed humans were just another weak species ready to be conquered. They had no idea what they had just awakened. They didn't know the secret that the galaxy had been hiding for thousands of years. They didn't know why gods dare not provoke mankind, but they were about to learn. The first Vin soldier that Hien Wu saw was tall, maybe 7 ft. It moved smoothly, almost like it was floating. Its armor was silver and seemed to shift colors in the light. In its hands was a weapon that hummed with blue energy. Hien Wu didn't think he just fired. His bullets hit the alien's armor. The creature stumbled, surprised. The armor held, but the impact was enough to knock it back. The alien looked at Hien Wu with those large black eyes. For a moment they just stared at each other. Then Hien Wu and LT Unk and GT's entire team opened fire. Vin soldier went down. Its armor cracked. Purple blood leaked onto the street. They can bleed, Hien Wu said. They can die. Morin poured from the drop ship. The battle became chaos. Humans and aliens fought in the streets of Seoul. Buildings burned. Cars exploded. People screamed, but the humans didn't run. They fought back with everything they had. In orbit, Nari was flying her fighter through the debris field that used to be Earth's defense network. She was one of the best pilots in the Korean Aerospace Division. Today she needed to be better than best. Squadron leader, we're outnumbered 20-1, her wingman said. Then we'll just have to shoot 20 times better, Nari replied. Her fighter was old. It was built by humans with human technology. It should have been useless against the Vin ships, but Nari had been flying since she was 16. She knew every trick, every move that wasn't in the manual. A Vin interceptor came at her. It was faster, more advanced. Its weapons locked onto her ship. Alarm screamed in her cockpit. Nari did something the Vin pilot didn't expect. She killed her engines. Her fighter went into a flat spin. The Vin's missile streaked past her, missing by meters. Before the alien could react, Nari restarted her engines and came up behind it. One burst from her cannons and the Vin ship exploded. Did you see that? Her wingman shouted. They're not invincible. Back on the ground, Yoonji was working in a field hospital. It had been set up in a subway station away from the bombing. Wounded soldiers kept coming in. She had been a doctor for 10 years, but she had never seen anything like this. A soldier was brought in. He had been shot 3 times with Vin energy weapons. Wounds were terrible, burned and smoking. He should have been dead, but he was still conscious, still trying to talk. Get me back out there, he mumbled. My team needs me. Yoonji gave him something for the pain and started working. The wounds were bad, but she had seen worse. What amazed her was how the soldier kept fighting against unconsciousness. Most people would have passed out from shock. This man was trying to sit up. Another soldier came in, then another. Each one had injuries that should have killed them. Each one kept asking when they could return to battle. Yoonji had studied medicine in multiple countries. She had seen many different people from many cultures, but she had never seen this level of determination to survive. Why won't they give up? One of the nurses asked. Exhausted. Because we're human, Yoonji said quietly. Giving up isn't what we Due at Earth Defense Command, Sun Ho was analyzing the battle data. He was a tactical analyst, which meant his job was to find patterns and weaknesses. He had been studying the VIN for only a few hours, but he was already seeing things. Their tactics are too perfect, he told General Quan. Look at this. Every formation is textbook. Every movement is calculated. They fight like machines. And that's a weakness. Maybe Song Ho pulled up more data. They're not adapting. We keep surprising them with irregular tactics, and it takes them too long to respond. It's like they've never fought an enemy that doesn't follow the rules. What are you thinking? I'm thinking we stop fighting fair, Sung Ho said. We use guerrilla tactics. We do things they won't expect. We make them scared. General Quan nodded. Do it. Send the orders. In the streets, the battle was changing. Human soldiers stopped trying to face the VIN head-on. Instead, they used the city itself as a weapon. They hid in buildings. They attacked from sewers. They used traps and ambushes. The VIN, with all their advanced technology, suddenly found themselves fighting an enemy they couldn't predict. One group of VIN soldiers captured a human. They brought him to their commander, General Cormaven. The alien general wanted information about human defenses. The prisoner was a young corporal. He looked terrified. The VIN expected him to talk, to beg for his life. Instead, the corporal spat blood at the general's feet. You picked the wrong planet, the corporal said. General Cormaven was confused. This human should have been broken, should have been begging. Instead, he showed defiance. Even in defeat, the general had conquered 47 worlds. He had never seen a species act like this. Why do you resist? Cormaven asked through a translator. We are stronger. We have better weapons. We will win. You only make it worse for yourselves. The corporal smiled despite his injuries. We've been fighting since we crawled out of caves. You think you're the scariest thing we've ever faced. We survived ice ages. We survived plagues. We survived each other. You're just another Tuesday. The general didn't understand the reference, but he understood the tone. These humans weren't going to surrender. Not now. Maybe not ever. In orbit, Nari's squadron had captured a small VIN supply ship. It was damaged and drifting. Nari made a crazy decision. We're boarding it, she told her team. Are you insane? Her wingman asked. Probably. But I want to see how their ships work. They docked with the damaged alien vessel. Inside they found alien technology that was decades ahead of Earth's, but Nari was smart. She was trained and she was desperate. Within an hour she had figured out the basic controls. Within 2 hours she was flying the alien ship. It responded to her commands like it was made for her. The VIN technology was advanced, but it wasn't complicated, not to someone who had been flying since they were a teenager. Earth Command, this is Captain Nari, she transmitted. I'm sending you data on VIN ship systems. I think we can use their own technology against them. Back at the first contact center, Jiu was still working on the encrypted files. The battle raged outside, but she kept digging. Something in these files was important. She could feel it. The next file opened. This one made her stand up from her chair. It was a medical report, a biological analysis of Earth life. The language was alien, but the translation software was working. Now, Earth designated as helpless world, she read aloud. Gravity exceeds Galactic standard by 40%. Atmospheric. Pressure extreme, disease load. Catastrophic, dominant predator species. Multiple, survival conditions lethal too. 98% of known galactic life. She kept reading, her hands started shaking. Species humanity evolved under extreme conditions. Standard Earth diseases. Fatal to most galactic species, human. Immune system classified as hyperactive. Human muscle density exceptional due to high gravity, human pain tolerance. Abnormal, human psychological warfare. Capacity. Extreme. Ju looked at the date on the file. It was from the Galactic Council, written 500 years ago, when humans had first been discovered. They've known about us for centuries, she whispered. They've been watching us and they've been afraid. Another message came through from space. This one was from the Galactic Council. Again broadcast to the Vin fleet. Final warning to Vin Empire. Withdraw immediately. Humanity is a death world. Species, you do not understand what you are facing. Withdraw or face the consequences. At Vin headquarters, Commander Vexler listened to the message. He laughed. Propaganda, he said. To his officers, the humans are desperate. They're trying to scare us with lies. Continue the attack. But in his mind, doubt was beginning to form. His soldiers were reporting strange things. Humans who wouldn't die, humans who fought with broken bones, humans who used tactics that made no sense but somehow worked. In the field hospital, Yunji noticed something else. The wounded were healing faster than they should, much faster. Burns that should take weeks to heal were closing in days. Broken bones were mending at incredible speeds. It was like human bodies were designed for war. Maybe they were. The first day of battle ended. Earth had lost ground, but it hadn't fallen. The Vin had expected an easy victory. Instead, they had paid heavily for every meter. Their casualties were mounting. And worse, they were starting to feel something they had never felt before in battle. They were starting to feel afraid. Dong Haiyan had been a historian before the war started. Now he was something else. He sat in a dark room deep underground, surrounded by computer screens. His job was to decode the Galactic Council's files. Every file Ju sent him, he broke open piece by piece. The latest file was the biggest yet. It was encrypted with technology humans barely understood, but Dong Haiyan was patient. He had always been good with puzzles. This was just another puzzle. Puzzle that might save humanity. After 3 days of work, the file opened. What he saw made him forget to breathe. It was a historical document, a record from millions of years ago. The author called themselves the architects. They were the ones who had created life across the galaxy. They had seeded worlds with organisms, guided evolution, built civilizations. They were the gods of the galaxy, or at least they had been. Dong Hun read their words carefully. The translation was rough, but the meaning was clear. We have seeded 3,000 worlds with life, the document said. Each world is designed for purpose. Some worlds produce scholars, some produce artists, some produce traders, but one world must be different. Dong Haiyan scrolled down. We created Earth as a forge, a crucible. We made it harsh beyond measure. High gravity, extreme weather, aggressive diseases, deadly predators. We did this with purpose. We needed a species that could survive anything, fight anything, adapt to anything. His hands were shaking now. We made Earth because we are afraid. Something exists beyond our galaxy. Something dark, something that hunts. We have fought it before and barely survived. When it comes again, we will need warriors. We will need survivors. We will need humans. The document continued. It explained how the architects had designed Earth's environment. They made the gravity higher so humans would grow strong. They made diseases common so human immune systems would become powerful. They made the planet full of predators so humans would learn to fight. Every hardship Earth had faced was by design. Every ice age, every natural disaster, every challenge that humans had overcome was part of the plan. Humanity wasn't just lucky to survive, they were built to survive. Oh my God, Dong Haiyan whispered. We're weapons, we're living weapons. He called Ju immediately. You need to come see this, he said, right now. Ju arrived an hour later. She looked exhausted. The battle above ground was still raging, but when she saw what Dong Hun had found, she forgot about being tired. This can't be real, she said. Reading the document, there's more. Dong Hunan said. He showed her another file. This is from the Galactic Council. It's dated about 500 years ago, right after they first discovered Earth. The Council's document was a warning. It explained that Earth had been found by a survey ship. The ship's crew had tried to visit the planet. 3 of them died within an hour from Earth's diseases. 2 more died from the gravity. The last one made it back to the ship and died a week later from what humans would call a common cold. They sent a probe down to study us. Ju read. It observed humans for a year. The report says species shows extreme aggression, remarkable adaptability, and frightening resilience. They fight each other constantly, yet cooperate when facing external threats. They domesticate apex predators for companionship. They consume toxins for pleasure. They have conquered their entire planet despite it being classified as hell class. Recommendation: quarantine immediately. Never allow this species to reach the stars. If provoked, they will be unstoppable. Dong Haiyan pulled up another file and look at this. It's a message from the architects. It's their last message before they disappeared. The final message was short, terrifying. We created Earth's guardians and then we fled. The darkness beyond is coming. We go to hide in the spaces between stars. But Earth must remain when the darkness arrives. Only those forged in hell will stand against it. Do not wake them early. Do not provoke them. Let them grow strong. Let them reach the stars on their own. And when the time comes, hope that they remember mercy. Ju sat down. Her legs felt weak. They created us to fight gods, she said slowly, and then they abandoned us. Not abandoned, Dong Hun said. They trusted us. They trusted that when the time came, we would be ready. Above ground, the war was changing. The Vin were no longer advancing. They had taken control of several cities, but they couldn't hold them. Human resistance was everywhere. Every building was a fortress. Every street was a trap. Every civilian was a potential fighter. In space, things were even worse for the Vin. Human ships were now using captured alien technology. Nari had shared her discoveries with every pilot and engineer in the fleet. Within days, human ships were using Vin weapons, Vin shields, Vin engines, but they were using them in ways the Vin never imagined. Human creativity mixed with alien technology created something new, something dangerous. T-Man's fleet From Mars had reached Earth, his ships were a ragtag collection of mining vessels and transport craft. They shouldn't have been a threat, but Tamman was using them like missiles. He would accelerate the ships to high speed, then have the crew evacuate in escape pods. The unmanned ships would crash into vessels, causing massive damage. It was wasteful, it was crude, it worked. The humans are insane, one Vin officer reported to Commander Vexter. They use their own ships as weapons. They don't care about losses, they just keep coming. Vexter was starting to understand. These humans didn't fight like any species he had ever faced. They didn't fight to win, they fought to survive, and there was a difference. Big difference. A new transmission came through. This time it wasn't from the Galactic Council, it was from one of the Council's representatives, an alien named Thale. The transmission was marked private, meant only for Earth. Geo received it at the first contact center. People of Earth, the message began. I am thine. I'm a historian for the Galactic Council. I am sending you this message. Against the orders of my superiors, you deserve to know the truth. The alien's face appeared on screen. It looked kind, almost grandfatherly. Its voice was gentle. Your world is classified as helpless. Then said, do you know what this means? It means that if any of us tried to live on Earth for even a week, we would die. Your bacteria are bioweapons to us. Your diseases cause organ failure in 17 different species. Your gravity would crush our bones over time. Your atmospheric pressure would damage our lungs. The alien paused. And you wonderful, terrifying humans, you were born in this nightmare world. You evolved in it. You thrive in it. Do you understand what that makes? You are the most dangerous species in the known galaxy, not because you are cruel, not because you are evil, but because you simply refuse to die. Thalon leaned closer to the camera. The architects designed you for war. They made Earth your training ground. Every hardship you faced, you overcame. Every disease you survived. Every predator you hunted, you didn't just survive Earth. You conquered it. You made it yours. Geo was crying now. She didn't know why. Pride, fear, relief. The Vin Empire doesn't understand what they've done. Thalon continued. They have awakened sleeping dragons. They have invaded a death world. They have provoked the one species that the ancient gods feared. Even we, the Galactic Council, don't try to control you. We can only contain you. And now that containment is broken. The message ended with a warning. Tell your leaders this. Fight with everything you have. Show the galaxy what humans can do. But remember, when this is over, when you win, you will take your place among the stars, and the galaxy will never be the same. Make sure you are the heroes we hoped for, not the monsters we feared. Ju sat in silence for a long time after the message ended. Then she did something she hadn't done in days. She smiled. They were going to win. She knew it now. Not because they were stronger or smarter or better armed, but because humanity had been preparing for this fight since the first human stood up and faced a predator. Humanity had been forged in fire, born in hell, tested by a planet that tried to kill them every single day, and they had not just survived, they had thrived. Now it was time to show the galaxy what that meant. Jung stood in what used to be a car factory in Buselsen. Now it was something else, a weapons factory, but not just any weapons. These were hybrid Weapons mixing human engineering with captured Vin technology. Will it work? Asked the factory manager. Jung held up a rifle. It looked mostly human, but the barrel glowed with blue Vin energy. He had spent the last week taking apart alien weapons and figuring out how they worked. Then he did what humans do best. He made them better. Only one way to find out, he said. He aimed at a test target and fired. The weapon roared. The shot was faster than a normal bullet, stronger than a normal laser. It punched through 3 layers of Vin armor, plating like it was paper. It works, Jung said with a grin. Start mass production. I want 10,000 of these by next week. That's impossible. So was surviving Earth, Jung replied. We do impossible things every day. We just don't brag about it. In Seoul, Sora was working on a different kind of weapon. She was an intelligence officer, which meant she studied the enemy's mind, and she had discovered something interesting about the Vin. They've never known fear. She told General Kwan, look at their psychological profiles. Their home world is peaceful. No predators, no wars until they develop space travel. They fight for conquest, not survival, and that helps us. How? Sora smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. It means we can scare them. Actually scare them. They're not ready for psychological warfare. She had a plan, a terrible, brilliant plan. She started spreading stories on captured Vin communication channels, stories about humans who couldn't die, humans who ate their enemies, humans who hunted in the dark. None of it was true, but the Vin didn't know that. The Vin soldiers started to hear these stories. They started to believe them. When they fought humans in dark buildings, they started seeing monsters in every shadow. Their aim got worse. Their tactics became defensive. Fear is a powerful weapon, and humans had been using it against each other for thousands of years. Now they used it against the Vin. On Mars, Tammin was planning something crazy. His fleet was small, but he had learned something important: friendship. Ships were better than human ships in almost every way, but they had one weakness: they were predictable. We're going to attack their flagship, he told his officers. Everyone stared at him. Sir, that's suicide, Lieutenant Park said. No, it's tactical insanity, Tammin corrected. There's a difference. They'll never expect us to attack their strongest ship with our weakest fleet. That's exactly why it will work. He pulled up a plan. It was complex and relied on split-second timing, but it was also brilliant. They would use the debris field from destroyed satellites as cover. They would disable their own engines and drift like wreckage. They would get close to the flagship before the Vin knew what was happening. We only need 5 ships to get through, Tammin said. 5 ships and 10 good people. We board the flagship plant, explosives, and get out. And if we can't get out, Tammin looked at his team, then we make sure the explosives go off. Anyway, this isn't about survival. This is about sending a message. Nobody invades Earth and gets away with it. Mission launched that night. 50 ships went in. 45 died getting through the defenses, but 5 made it. 5 ships drifted close to the massive Ren flagship. 5 ships attached to the hull like parasites. Tammin was on one of them, cutting through now, he said into his radio. The human boarding team used plasma cutters to burn through the alien hull. Alarms shrieked inside the Vin ship. The aliens knew they were being boarded, but they didn't know what they were facing. Yan Wu was also on the boarding team. he had been pulled from ground combat for this mission. Now he led his squad through the alien ship. The corridors were too tall, too wide. Everything was built for creatures larger than humans, but that gave humans an advantage. They were small, fast, hard to hit. The Vin guards came at them. Hien Wu and LT Unk and GT's team used their new hybrid weapons. The aliens fell. The humans advanced. Every corridor was a battle. Every room was a fight. But the humans kept moving forward. They reached the flagship's engineering section. Zhang had designed special explosives for this mission, bombs that would overload the Vin reactor. Tammin started setting them. "We have 3 minutes," he said. "Then this whole ship becomes a star." A Vin commander appeared. It was huge, wearing heavy armor. It carried a weapon that could have cut a human in half, but Hien Wu didn't hesitate. He fired. His team fired. The alien went down. Charges set. Tammin said, "Everyone out now." They ran. Behind them, the Vin flagship began to shake. The reactor was going critical. Alarms screamed in alien languages. The ship's crew was evacuating. Everything was chaos. Tammin and his team made it back to their boarding ships. 3 of the 5 ships got away, 2 didn't. 15 humans died to destroy 1 alien flagship. It was a high price, but when the flagship exploded, taking 3 other Vin ships with it, the message was clear. Humans would pay any price, make any sacrifice. They would trade lives for victory without hesitation, because that's what survivors do. Commander Vexther watched his flagship die. He couldn't believe it. These primitives had actually boarded his flagship. The pride of the Vin fleet. "Send a message to the home world," he said quietly. "Tell Emperor Zulkarth we need reinforcements. Tell him the humans must be destroyed, all of them, every last one." His communications officer looked worried. "Sir, the council has issued another warning. They say if we escalate further, they will intervene." "I don't care about the council," Vexther snapped. "These humans are a threat to the entire galaxy. They must be eliminated before they spread beyond their world." Back on Earth, news of the flagship's destruction spread quickly. It gave people hope. The impossible was possible. The invincible could be beaten. Nari was in orbit, flying her captured Vin ship. She had painted it with Korean colors. Now she led a squadron of mixed human and alien vessels. They fought with coordination that surprised the Vin. Humans adapted so quickly. What took other species years to learn, humans learned in days. In her cockpit, Nari remembered something her grandfather had told her. He had been a soldier in an old Earth war. He said, "We Koreans have been invaded many times. We always survive. We always remember, and we never forgive." She thought those words applied to all humans now. They were being invaded. They would survive. They would remember, and they would make sure this never happened again. On the ground, the war was turning. Human forces were using their new hybrid weapons. They were using psychological warfare. They were using tactics that made no sense to the Vin but worked perfectly. They were fighting on their terms, on their world, with their rules. And they were winning. Yunji saw it in the hospital. Fewer wounded were coming in. The ones who did come were in better spirits. They talked about victories, about Vin forces retreating, about aliens who were scared to fight in the dark. "We're actually going to win this," one soldier told her. Yunji bandaged his wounds and smiled. Of course we are, we're human. Winning is what we do, but in space something was happening. The Vin Empire was sending more ships, not just a few, an entire armada. Emperor Zolkarath himself was coming to Earth with enough firepower to destroy the planet 10 times over. The Vin had realized something. They couldn't just conquer humanity, they had to exterminate them, because if even one human survived, if even one human reached the stars with this knowledge, this technology, this determination, they would become unstoppable. The final battle was coming, and everyone knew it. Human, Vin, the Galactic Council, all of them watched and waited. The war for Earth had become something bigger. It had become a test to see if the architects had been right, test to see if humans really were the warriors that would save the galaxy or destroy it. The answer was coming, and it would come written in fire and blood. Across the stars, the Vin Armada arrived. Like a storm, thousands of ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. They covered the sky, blocking out stars. At the center of the fleet was the Emperor's personal warship. It was the size of a city, bristling with weapons that could crack planets. Emperor Zolkarath stood on his command deck and looked at Earth on the view screen. Blue planet looked so small, so fragile. He couldn't understand how such a weak world had caused him so much trouble. Begin the attack, he commanded. Destroy everything. Leave nothing alive. But before his fleet could move, another fleet appeared. Ships bearing the symbol of the Galactic Council materialized between Earth and the Vin Armada. Hundreds of ships from dozens of species, all of them aimed at the Vin. Transmission came through. It was from High Counselor Ormenthy, the leader of the Council, Emperor Zolkarth. The Counselor said, "You are hereby ordered to stand down. The quarantine of humanity is no longer valid. They have passed the test. They have earned their place among the stars." Zolkarath laughed. Test? What test? These creatures are monsters. Look what they did to my forces. They must be destroyed. No, Ormenthy replied, you do not understand what you are facing. We came not to save humanity. We came to save you and to contain them. If you attack now, you will force them to show their true strength, and that will be the end of your empire. I don't fear humans. Then you are a fool, Ormenthy said quietly, but we will not let you destroy what the architects created. Stand down or face the Council's fleet. On Earth, everyone watched and waited. The two largest fleets in the galaxy faced each other over their world, but nobody asked for Earth's permission. Nobody asked what humans wanted. Tammin stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the standoff. His fleet was tiny compared to either armada, but he was still the commander of humanity's forces, and he was tired of being talked about like humans were children. Open a channel, he said to everyone. Council, Vin, everyone listening. His communications officer looked surprised. Sir, we don't have the authority to do it. The channel opened. Tammin's face appeared on every screen, every view screen, every display across the solar system. My name is Commander Tammin. He said, I speak for Earth, I speak for humanity, and I'm only going to say this once. Get out of our system. There was silence. Then Emperor Zolkar spoke. You dare to threaten me? I have enough firepower to turn your planet to glass. Maybe, Tammin replied, but we've already proven we can destroy your ships. We can board your flagship. We can kill your soldiers. What makes you think you'll Survive long enough to glass our planet. How many of your ships are you willing to lose? Half all of them. Geo was in the command center on Earth, listening to Tammon's transmission. She had the decoded files open in front of her, all the secrets of humanity's creation, all the warnings from the architects. She made a decision, send the files. She told Dong Hyan, send everything we decoded, send it to the council, to the Vin, to everyone, let them see the truth. Dong Hyan uploaded the files to every channel, the architects' documents, the medical reports, the warnings, everything across the galaxy. Species read the files and understood. Earth wasn't just another world. Humans weren't just another species. They were weapons built by gods, forged in hell. And they had just been awakened. High Counselor Ormenthy read the files. He had seen some of this information before, but not all of it. Not the architect's final message. When he finished reading, he felt something he hadn't felt in centuries: fear. The architects wrote that the darkness beyond the galaxy would return, he said. To his advisors, they wrote that only humans could stop it. If we let the Vin destroy Earth, we doom the entire galaxy. Emperor Zulker also read the files. He saw the medical reports showing how deadly humans could be. He saw the warnings. He saw what the architects had intended. For the first time since the war began, he felt doubt. One of his commanders spoke up. My Emperor, perhaps we should reconsider. No, Zulkerith interrupted. These files could be faked propaganda. I will not be scared by. An alarm cut him off. Something was happening. His sensors were detecting a massive energy signature coming from beyond the galaxy, coming from the darkness between galaxies. Every ship, human and alien, detected it. A tear in space. Something huge was coming through, something that made even the Emperor's city sized warship look small. What is that? Sulkarth whispered. High Counselor Ormenthy knew. He had read the old records, the ancient texts. It's what the architects feared. It's what they fled from. The darkness has returned. Shape emerged from the tear in space. It was organic and mechanical at the same time. It was beautiful and terrifying. It was older than the galaxy itself, and it was hungry. The creature, the thing, the entity broadcasted a message in every language simultaneously. Life, we sense life. We come to feed. We come to consume. You are food. You are fuel. Resistance is temporary. Extinction is inevitable. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then Tammon did something that surprised everyone. He laughed. Are you kidding me? He said. We've been fighting for weeks. We're tired. We're low on ammunition, and we're really, really angry. And now some cosmic horror shows up thinking we're going to be easy prey. He looked at his crew. Arm every weapon we have. Send a message to Earth. Tell them we need everything that can fly and shoot. And someone get the Vin Emperor on the line. Emperor Zulkerith's face appeared on screen. He looked shaken. Commander Tammon, the Emperor said slowly, I believe we have a common enemy now. Yeah, Tammon replied, we do. So here's the deal. You help us kill this thing, and we don't hold a grudge about the invasion. We'll call it a misunderstanding. Deal. Zulker should have been insulted. He was an emperor. He didn't make deals with primitives. But he was looking at the cosmic horror on his screens, and he was looking at Tammon's determined face, and he made a choice. Deal, he said. The High Counselor watched this exchange in Disbelief, you're aligning with them. Just like that, did you see the way he's? Smiling, Zolka replied, humans smile. When they're scared, not because they're running, but because they've decided to fight. I've seen that smile too many times. I know what it means. Hin Wu was on Earth watching everything unfold. His squad was being called up. Every soldier, every pilot, every ship Earth was preparing for war again. But this time they weren't fighting alone. Nari launched her squadron, but now she was flying alongside Vin pilots, the aliens, who had been trying to kill her days ago, were now her wingmen. It was strange. It was necessary. Jung worked faster than ever, modifying weapons to fight the cosmic horror. He had human technology, Vin technology, and now Council technology. He mixed them all together. The results were weapons that shouldn't exist, weapons that violated several laws of physics, weapons that would probably kill the user as easily as the target. They're perfect, he said. Cosmic entity attacked. It sent smaller creatures, things made of dark matter and nightmare. They swarmed toward the Allied fleet, thousands of them, maybe millions. The fleet opened fire. Human weapons, Vin weapons, Council weapons, all of them together, creating a wall of destruction. The dark creatures died, but more came. Sara implemented her psychological warfare plan on a massive scale. She broadcast messages into the cosmic entity's mind, messages of defiance, messages of anger, messages showing every time humanity had faced extinction and survived, every plague, every ice age, every war, every disaster. The entity hesitated. It had never encountered prey that fought back like this, never faced creatures that became more dangerous when threatened. Yunji was in her hospital preparing for casualties, but she also prepared something else: medicine, vaccines, treatment, because she knew this fight would end eventually, and survivors would need healing. Both human and alien survivors. The battle raged for hours. The cosmic entity was powerful, maybe invincible, but the Allied fleet wasn't trying to destroy it. They were trying to drive it back, push it through the tier in space, send it back to wherever it came from. Tammin coordinated the attack. His tactics were insane. His plans were suicidal, but they worked. The entity was being pushed back. Ju watched from Earth. She thought about the architect's words, about how humans were created to fight when gods could not. She thought about how every species in the galaxy was now working together because humans had shown them how. The entity screamed a sound that crossed dimensions. It was being forced back through the tier, but before it left, it sent one final message. You humans, we will remember. You, we will return, and we will bring everything. Yeah, Tammin replied, when you come back, we'll be ready, and we won't be alone. The entity vanished. The Terran space sealed. The darkness retreated. For a long moment there was silence across the entire fleet. Then Emperor Zulkarath spoke. Commander Tammin, I owe you an apology and a debt. The Vin Empire would like to propose a formal peace treaty and an alliance. High Counselor Ormanthy added, the Galactic Council lifts all restrictions on humanity. You are no longer quarantined. You are free to join us as equals if you will have us. Timon looked at Earth on his screen.